Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. Hey, Gamby. Hey, Gabriel. Hey, Patricia. How are y'all doing today? Welcome in. Whole crew's here. How's it going? Yeah, we're gonna clean up this storefront today because, frankly, this page, I want this page to be interesting, but this background needs some help. I've only drawn it small ever, and this is one of the very few that I can't use the, like, photograph method that I use to draw, so I'm gonna look up some reference images really quick. I'm gonna look at, like, a Chinese, like, American Chinese restaurant storefront. Oh, yeah. Oh, I found one that's, like, excellently good. Right out the gate. It's a beautiful restaurant. Alright. Now I need to find also a Mexican restaurant storefront. Because somehow I need this to be both. But to be honest, most Mexican restaurants actually are just noted by their signage. I guess I could have, like, adobe structures. That might be kind of weird architecturally. I don't know. I might keep the building the way that it is. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, nice. How was Hello Chinese? Do you like that app? That's so cool. Alright, so actually I'm gonna need to work on the roof first. Bless my soul, but, like, this is really bad. Do I wanna... Maybe I do. Nope. Just kidding, no I don't. Okay, we're gonna start by doing these lines, I think. Up the entire thing. Because my perspective is correct. It's just this whole thing is, like, awful. I wouldn't use it solely by itself. I see. It's better with a course like Xiaoma's. Gotcha. Good to know. I've been very impressed lately with the language learning app called Drops. If you've ever seen or used that app. Normally I have a lot of issues with apps and how they teach the cases in, like, languages like Russian, for example. Like, Duolingo doesn't explain them at all, and you conjugate verbs and other words, and you don't know why. Like, Duolingo just will not tell you, like, this is why you conjugate words this way. So it's not very comprehensive at all. Like, you can learn to speak Russian on a basic level, but it's not really going to help you. But Drops is much better about that, and also it is absurd. This language learning app is the funniest language learning app I've ever used in my life. And sometimes Duolingo will make me laugh with their, like, stories, like, they're kind of witty, and I'm like, this is silly. But Drops is unhinged. Absolutely unhinged. I haven't checked it out for Chinese yet because I was just curious to see how it would tackle Russian, if it could handle the Russian cases. And so far, 10 out of 10, would recommend. Really, really good. But I would want to see it for Chinese. How many words are in the Chinese language? A lot. Chinese has about 100,000 to 350,000. The higher, so 100,000 roughly are words that are used today. 350,000 includes historical words that are not used anymore. So 100,000 seems about right, give or take. Versus in English, There are no exact number of words in English as by Merriam-Webster, but interesting. Stephen Frank, the author of The Ten Commandments, claims that English has 500,000 words compared to German's 135,000 and French having fewer than 100,000. But the Oxford Dictionary for English contains 171,000 words, so roughly just a touch more than Chinese. Yeah, 100,000 to 350,000, yes. There were at least 350,000 words in the Chinese language. However, I could never string the right words together to properly communicate how badly I want to hit you with a chair. Chinese Hamilton. It's true. It was driving me crazy to pronounce "ren" because I couldn't watch the recording they had for the word, but they show a clip of the Chinese girl and she said it with the R sound, so I was like, ugh. Yeah, well, I'm like, oh, it's so true, Patricia. Well, you want to know what's so nuts? I was, finding that same interesting issue when learning Russian. Let me see if I can get the word. So this is the word for very. The word is очень. Очень. In Russian, your E sound is pronounced ye. So очень, right? Очень. But there's this little interesting little letter at the end, which is a silent letter, or at least I was taught when I did Russian in college that it was a silent letter. However, let's say the sentence, for example, in Russian, very good, right? So we have очень хорошо, right? It's very good. When I was watching somebody who was actually native pronounce this sentence, and I had a teacher who was from Russia, right? So she would pronounce this sentence, очень хорошо, which is how I learned how to pronounce it. However, I was watching the language speakers through Drops pronounce it, and one woman in particular, she pronounced it очень хорошо. So she actually said the silent I, and this woman is a native Russian speaker. She was born in Russia, speaks in Russia, and so очень хорошо. Very lightly, and I was like, oh shit, so you can pronounce the silent I, right? And so I feel like some Chinese speakers, depending on your accent, they really do lean in with that R. It's like instead of it being a L sound, like len, it's more like the lightest R flick of all humanly possible, like of all time. It's like len. It's hard to, like, I'm not super practiced, so pardon my terrible pronunciation, but sometimes I do hear a person say then, like an R, and it's like, okay, so I'm confused. I am confusion, so I understand where you're coming from. I had that moment with Russian the other day, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, and then Russian actually too is a lot like French, where they just drop letters just for the sake of ease for pronunciation sometimes, and so it's like, I don't know. I do know who's on first. I do. If you learn those Chinese, you can watch Jackie Chan films. That is also very true. His name in Chinese is Tung Long, which I think is absolutely badass. His name means, like, his stage name means, like, becoming the dragon or some shit. It's the most badass shit. Oh my god, a shortened video version of that routine in Chinese. That's so fun. Yeah, who's on first is iconic. Truly. Truly. I was Abbott and Costello, I think. Okay, so now I'm going to make a new layer, and we're going to do some circles. I'm going to actually fix this roof. Let's do this. Like that. Actually, I'm going to have to do this. To change this pretty intensely, I think. That's okay. Worth. Oh, and of course, not all of these are evenly spaced, right? So I'm gonna fit some of these in here because they're the right size, and then go in and change, like just squish some of them down. And that's okay. When I did this God in like 2016, it was a long time ago. I was not the best artist, so now we have to go back in and slightly repair the inaccurate stuff going on. And some of it is because of perspective, which is fine. That makes sense. Like that, that's perspective. This is because I suck. Have you ever thought of what characters would sound, or your characters would sound like if you've given them a voice? Ah, yes. Well, I do like some voice acting myself when I read my books aloud, so I have like a pretty good idea. But sometimes I will hear people, actors particularly, I hear them speak, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly who should play the like American English version of this character if I had to. You know, and like I think everybody's got their answers for like good Sun Wukong actors, and I have not found one that is better than particularly yeah, Zi Lin, or no, that's Zhang Lior. Hold on, who plays Lei Zhang. He played the Monkey King in Monkey King Hero is Back, and holy shit, that guy did such a good job. Really, really, really good job. I love him. So that was great. I also, for American English, I liked oh yeah, it was Jimmy Yang. Yeah, Jimmy Yang. He did a great job as Sun Wukong, in my opinion. I really liked the way, the vocal quality of his voice and how that sounded, but if I had to pick another actor, I would probably pick Joey Richter. But if I wanted to pick an American or like a Chinese person, it would still be Jimmy Yang if I had to pick American English. And I don't know if Jimmy Yang speaks if he speaks Mandarin. Jimmy Yang, what you got? He's from Hong Kong. Or his family's from Hong Kong? What you got, my friend? Oh yeah, his parents are from Shanghai. Oh, and he grew up in Hong Kong. Yeah, so he's probably fluent in Mandarin. Yeah, so honestly, Jimmy Yang would be the perfect guy to fucking cast because he could speak Chinese and English. It'd be amazing. Hugh Laurie's got such a beautiful voice. Hugh Laurie is, yeah, wonderful, wonderful actor. No, I forgot these lines over here. Okay, so now I have to actually put in, I'm gonna, hello? It actually won't let me go any further over there. Okay, that's fine. It was like Godspeed. Okay. So now I need to actually make this bamboo not suck. And this is how we do this. And this is okay. This is, you know, it's gonna take a little bit to get this to actually look like a nice storefront. And I put in like most of the work, which is good already structurally with the other restaurant, but I need to amp this up so that way it's not like, I guess, like sad looking. And then technically, I feel like bamboo has that kind of like weird center booty hole. I don't know what that is. It's like where the water travels through the plant. It makes sense. So, let's see, and then this actually is gonna have a bunch of troughs like this. think that these are flipped inverted pieces of bamboo if I had to guess how they made this roof, but... Yeah, I think House is probably his most famous work. I really liked him as Dr. Cockroach in Monsters vs. Aliens. I love him. Karma! How's it going? A wild Karmamon has appeared. How are you? Welcome in. Karma! I hope you're having a good day. Heyo, hydrate. I'm drinking some skin cleanse tea today. Super good. Be sure to stay hydrated with your beverage of choice. Yeah, it's good to see you, Karma. Thanks for popping in. I prefer to not have trauma dumping on my stream, please, Karma. If in my Discord there is a vent channel, and that is a good place to do that, if possible. Thank you for asking, though, beforehand. I appreciate that a lot. So, if you do have anything that you need to get off your chest, the vent channel is a great place. Great place to do that. And then I definitely will check it out after stream, too. So, I do read it, just not while I'm, like, actively streaming. Okay, let me try and get this going. Okay, so already this is looking a lot better. Sometimes vibing and doing, like, architecture work can be really fun, but sometimes it can be really boring. But I think today I'm kind of in the mood for vibe. There's a cool event going on. That's neat. What kind of an event? Also, thank you so much for sending me those super detailed messages, Gabriel. I appreciate that a lot. I did get your messages. I will start working on your commission tomorrow. The other commission that I'm working on has just been like so intense, and the person needed a lot of revisions, and I realize now the error of my ways. So I have a good idea next time of what to ask this person, this specific person, if they commission me again, which I think that they might, but like, I made some mistakes when dealing with this, and sometimes that's the way that it goes. It's my first time doing ref sheet commissions for them, so, or for anyone really, so like it's been a little bit of a learning curve. Favorite Streamers is doing event where you draw your favorite Pokemon in human form. Oh hey, that's dope. That's always fun. I have never really drawn like a Gajinka Pokemon, but the Gajinka designs that I have seen are amazing. Some people, like, kick out really incredible designs. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Which Pokemon are you gonna do? Ooh, okay, what type of Pokemon is it? What is the Pokemon type? I'm not super familiar with all of the Pokemon, so this might be kind of rough. Because I haven't played Pokemon in a minute. Oh, Dark type. My favorite Dark type is a Houndoom. I don't know if it is a Houndoom. Is it a Houndoom? I think Sableye is also a Dark type too, isn't it? Yeah, see, those are the only two Dark type Pokemon I can think of off the top of my head. That's it. Those are my two guesses. Slowly but surely, this is coming together. I actually need to chill out with. I never thought that I would be spending most of my day drawing bamboo, but I guess, you know, sometimes this happens. Oh, I guess Darkrai is a Dark type Pokemon. that's a pretty obvious one. I'm like Dark Charizard from the Pokemon 2000 movie. Oh, isn't Honchkrow and like Corviknight? Those guys are Dark type Pokemon too. I actually really like that Pokemon. And then I think all of the other ones I'm thinking of are all Ghost type Pokemon. That is not right. But you can tell my knowledge of Pokemon stops at Pokemon X and Y. Other than the teacup Pokemon, I fucking love that little guy. And Tatsugiri, best Pokemon, actually. Oh, Ghost Fairy. Oh, okay, that changes things. Because that's like a Hatterene, maybe. I don't... Well, maybe Hatterene is not fairy type. That's the first one that I can think of off the top of my head. That might be a fairy, but I don't remember if it's Ghost Fairy. That's a newer Pokemon. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm just not well-versed enough in Pokemon to really be able to make a guess. Because the last time I stopped playing was when they introduced fairy types, and that was pretty much it. Yeah, X and Y. Oof. Almost done with the bamboo. Yeah, I mean, that's up to you. Yeah, feel free to tell me. I can't guess anymore, so I don't... Yeah, my knowledge of Pokemon is very... Like, I don't want to say limited, because I do know a lot of them, but... I haven't really played Pokemon since, like, a decade ago, clearly. I'm, like, doing... Oh, Mimikyu! Yeah, see, I forget... Oh, I forget that that one's a fairy type. That's right, that's right. I always forget that Mimikyu exists, even though it's so popular. Oh, Mimikyu. Bless your stupid, sad soul. It deserves a hug. It's not its fault. They're cute, though. Mimikyu are super cute. Kind of creepy, but cute. But I guess that's to be said with, like, ghost-type Pokemon. My favorite ghost-type Pokemon is a Chandelure. The Chandelier. Yeah. But my all-time favorite Pokemon is a Tatsugiri. Okay, that helps. Alright, so now let me look at this. Restaurant again. It just needs some help here. I don't even need to do anything that crazy. I think this was lemon milk. What's this font? Yeah. But I don't even know if I want that font. Let me see what else we got. Honestly, maybe lemon milk was just the answer all along. Yeah, never mind. Good luck drawing! Oh yeah, feet suck. I hate drum feet. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this here like this, which ends up working out. turn this off, and I'm gonna actually give this a little bit of a drop shadow. Just to lift it from the signage a little bit. Let's see. Trying to figure out what this says. I can kind of guess what this says on this sign, but I'd like to know. That's what I thought. Yeah, New World. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So now I have to translate stuff, and this is where this is gonna get gross. Simplified. Yeah, Mijuan. Mijuan. Let me see. I'm going to make sure that this is the appropriate word that I'm looking for. This is such an American word. Hey, Bunnix, how's it going? Oh, caramel fudge. Yo, that sounds so good. How are you? Good to see you. Mijuan. Mijuan. Is this the secret? I'm gonna check here too. Oh, it's slang for LSD. Okay, I mean, that works. Okay. The butter's taking too long to melt. I'm just staring at it. True. Okay, I'm looking up a bunch of stuff that I didn't need to know, but now I know. Alright, so let me get some text here. Mijuan. And then, what is taco in Chinese? This is the question. These are the things that we need to know. No, really? You Mituan. Really? Why would you tell me this? Okay, this dictionary sucks major booty hole. Cambridge, you suck. Oh my god, their fucking word for taco was literally corn roll. I love it. Yeah, but like... Okay, but people are asking this question, like, what is taco in Chinese, truly? Duanbing. Well, Shiga Duanbing, but is that right? Literally everyone is like, what is taco in Chinese? No, but like... Register to unlock this content, you're a weenie. It literally means corn roll. Sometimes we say this for Taco Bell. Hold on, what does it mean? Taka dong. Oh yeah, dong like bell. Ah, that's so funny. I get it. Ah, I understand. That's funny. Okay, but like, yeah, you will meet one. Okay, well there you go. All right, okay, I'll take it. If a Chinese person says you meet one is correct, I am going to. I will take it. And then let's do Z cool. Oh. And then I guess... Oh, now I want caramel really bad. That sounds so good. I'm like, I can smell it in my brain. How do I measure chocolate in a cup? Is it liquid chocolate or is it, like chocolate chips? White, yeah, okay. So if it's like chocolate chips, I would just use a regular measuring cup. Like whatever, if you have like a measuring cup like that. But I think you can also technically measure it in a liquid measuring cup if you have one of those as well. Yeah, I would just scoop the chopped chocolate into like a regular measuring cup. A cup is 8 ounces. And then if you're working with 2 milliliters, 1 fluid ounce is 29 milliliters. Or sorry, 8 ounces, 8 fluid ounces is 236 milliliters. But if you're going ounces to grams, that's going to be about 220 grams of white chocolate. Yeah, so if you're doing, yeah, the chopped chocolate, 220-ish. If you go over, it's not going to be really that bad. Yeah, of course. That sounds so good. I love that you make... It seems like you're always making something really fun. It sounds like you're really good at making desserts. Oh, I need to duplicate this. Whoops. That works. I have a family working... Oh, I see. I cook for old people. Oh, I see. I see. Sometimes cake. That's nice. That's nice, though. I'm sure the old people appreciate it. Fudge is so good, though. Relatable. Sometimes you wake up and you're just like, I need fudge. And then sometimes you go to bed and you're just like, I need fudge. So, it's a mood. My mom always makes fudge around, like, Christmas time. I really enjoy it. Is this the most accurate? Not really. Is it gonna work? Yeah, it'll be okay. being able to get at least a little bit more detail in here is going to be at least a little bit better than what I had before, so I'll take it. It's not perfect, but it'll do. Yeah, it'll do. I got it on me. Oh no! I forgot how fun streamer points are. They are pretty fun. I like them. I like how they're implemented for sure. Salty caramel is fine. Yeah, I like mine salty too. Agreed. I think I like my sweets like pretty salty in general, now that I think about it. Like, even if I'm having like chocolate ice cream, I'll put salt on it. Or like, if I'm having vanilla ice cream, I'll put chili crisp on it, because I don't really like vanilla that much. I currently have 12k points. You are like a dragon. You're just over there like hoarding the points. I love it. All the points, all the time. Okay, I guess I'm gonna just draw straight across here. Let me see. Damn it, OBS. Oh, there we go. I fixed it. I did it. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna... I like how I can tell that I didn't just rotate my angle here. When working on this, I could have, but I didn't. The last time I drew this image. I believe in you, Karma. I believe. Okay. So actually, I kind of high-key hate the way that this looks on the outside of this restaurant, so I'm gonna change it, and if somebody notices by now, then they'll be like, why did you change the outside of the Trippy Taco? And I'll be like, because it looked like poopy before. And now it's better. And what I need is a square. And then, oops, actually I need this to be smaller. Square. And then this goes like this goes like this. Down, and then over. Yes! Alright. Little squares. And then now I'm going to take this and put it over on the other side. but it's gonna go like that. But it's refusing to simmer. Oh, that's the worst. I think that's like the worst part about making, like for me, for baking, I'm so impatient, I can't. I feel like this looks significantly better. Also, this is wrong. Like, mega wrong. Poor little me. Man, I didn't even know. Not know how perspective worked, apparently. It was about time to redo this. My cat decided to come and say hello. No, buddy, we don't do that. How many times do I have to tell you to not scratch my chair? Okay, we don't do that in here. Looks better. Okay, fantastic. Forgot. This. That's better. Okay, making progress. I'm gonna probably just do these bamboo caps by hand because I am too lazy to try and, I guess I can do most of the cap. I'm just gonna have to do a lot of filling in. Do you want to come up here? What is the deal? He's just looking at me very sadly. Come here. He's just like staring at me. I'm like, what do you want? You just vibing, buddy? What's happening? You wanted to come up here, claw on my chair, and then stand there? Is that the vibe? Okay, now let's fix this. Oh, I realize I did this in Brush Beauty when I should have been doing it in a different brush, but too late. It's okay, I can make it look like it's supposed to just by duplicating the layers. It works out. I made a mistakey. I believe in you. Maybe taking some time to step away from it and like look at it might help. I don't know if that would help. Sometimes if I feel like my work is like not going the way that I want it to, I just have to move on to something else for a little bit and then come back to it, and that kind of helps. Why would you do this to me, Photoshop? Oh yeah, music does help. I agree. That's such a good, easy solution too. Totally agree. Come on. Or are you ready for your lunch? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Do you want your lunchy? I think my cat wants his lunch. Can you give me like literally 2 seconds, Mr. Cat? Save. Now I really do feel like I need... Do I have it in my signage folder?
Oh, you're so cute, Mr. Cat.
Yeah, I do. Hey, good job. It sounds like you're making amazing progress. That is awesome. Okay. I think I'm getting pretty damn close. So let me not keep this cat waiting any longer. I'm gonna just be right back really quick so that I can feed my cat his lunch, because otherwise he's gonna just sit here and stare at me and be all sad. So I'll be right back. Mr. Man has been successfully fed. He's so sweet, but like, he demands his lunch at very specific times. I recognize his mouth hurts though, because he's got teeth issues, so I gotta be nice to him. He doesn't deserve to hurt in his mouthy mouth. Can we figure out where... Do we have any sound effects in this entire chapter? I guess maybe not. I had the sound effect on this page, I think. There it is. Now I have to double this. There has to be one that's more recent, that's the right font size. Like, do I not have anything on this page? Nope. Oh, but I do on this one. What font size are you? 36? How is that possible? I am so confusion. Okay, so maybe I need to double it. That would make sense. That looks more appropriate. Okay, is this still inside? Yes, okay, thank God. Big mood. The surprise is important. Up to you. Yeah, if you want to share it, feel free. If you want to keep a secret, also cool. Okay. Alright, so that's like literally this whole page. That was really easy. So I'm actually going to switch gears. And we're going to go into a completely different format of stream for the last like hour and a half that I have. So, easy peasy. Let me do image. Or, well, actually, I guess what I'll do. No, wait, I gotta be careful to not do that. Better. I don't know why it doesn't snap to this edges like that. I wish that it did, because that would be super convenient. But alas. Man, next week it'll be we'll be up to 200 pages. That's nuts. Okay, so I'm going to go and grab something else to prep for this next part of this stream. I'm going to update the titles and then announce in other places that we're switching streams. I'm going to switch gears to some writing and some editing, and I will explain how the stream is going to go when I get back, for those of you who are unfamiliar. So I will be right back. Okay, coming back. Okay, I'm gonna turn this on. I need to do it, adjust a couple of things. We're gonna change this to editing sprints. Let me go into Twitch, change the category. There we go. Let me open up Word instead. Let's do that. That sounds like a good plan to me. And then I'm opening up Fatal Mechanisms. Whoop. We're also going to change gears on music. Oh my god, ads, why? Get out of here. Okay, cool. Alright. Let me announce also in a bunch of Discords that I'm doing writing sprints. And also in my own Discord. Cool. That should be everything that I need to do. Enjoy your lurk. No, you lurk as much as you want. I'm gonna start sprinting. So, let me figure out how many of these dice I actually need. It's probably like 3. So, I'm gonna roll the iron dice. I like that one. So let me figure out how long we're going to be sprinting for. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 9 minutes, so not that crazy of a sprint. All right. 9-minute sprint. I'm actually going to add a 4th die. Well, I don't know. Maybe I want to do 6 or... No, Mr. Cat. Don't scratch my chair. Nah, I'll do 4. Okay, let me reroll. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's a 15-minute sprint. That's a little bit better. All right, let's go. We're going to start a sprint here. I'm going to be doing some editing, reading aloud, and if you pop in, I will say hello to everyone after the sprint is done. So we're going to get started in 3, a 2, a 1. I heard what happened, Goldfinger whispered as he leaned near me at lunch. About Jerry. I merely nodded. I did not have an appetite today, same as yesterday and the day before. Word traveled still in this place of silence. I'm glad you got him before he got you. Did he hurt you bad? I shook my head. If you get out, you need to find Ditto. He's a good friend of mine from upstairs. Ditto. He can help you, teach you how to protect yourself. I'll tell him I sent you. He owes me a favor from way back in helping you would settle this score. Thank you. I don't like seeing anyone get hurt, and this place is full of creeps. Metal footsteps echoed down the hallway, and some of us in the mess hall turned our heads to see who approached so loudly. Sakita strode into the room, flanked by two Arkas, the red ones from upstairs, and he marched directly toward me when he saw me. He grabbed me by the elbow, and I screamed and kicked as he pulled me away. My body changed, and the Yobe rumbled as I fought. If I could kill someone, I could escape. "Oh, would you stop struggling?" Sakita spat. "I'm pulling you from this place, you ungrateful bird." "Let go of me," I hollered, knocking someone's tray onto the floor. He was much stronger than Jerry. He dragged me up by the arm, lifting my feet from the floor. "Would you rather I leave you here?" I hung in the air, inches from the ground, kicking. After I realized he would not put me down, I looked around the room. Goldfinger nodded at me, and I stopped struggling. Sakita slowly lowered me to the floor and gestured toward the door. I walked in front of his Arkas, and they pushed me down the hall, past my cell, and into an elevator. After moments of silence, the elevator humming and buckling my knees, I became nauseous. I had eaten nothing the last few days, and my body reeled with the movement of the platform. I stumbled and clung to Sakita as the room spun, and he held me up. "Mercy, what a mess you are," he muttered. "Stand up straight." I held on to him until the platform stopped and I was able to regain my footing a little, but everything still bobbed and weaved as we got off on his floor. The walk down to his room seemed to take hours, and my eyes dipped into blackness more than once on the journey. I was relieved to be out of the work camp, out of the suffocating white, and then he moved me into white again. I sat on his cold, hard chair, and he moved a black stain in the bright room to his desk. The Arkas resumed their usual position next to him, and he laced his fingers across the table. "So what happened?" he asked, his voice echoing around the room. I shivered in the suit. He kept the room freezing, so my cold breath formed steam in the air. "An inmate attacked me," I said, barely bringing my voice above a whisper. "You killed him just for grabbing you?" "No," I replied as I began to shiver. "He pulled me into a closet. He cut my suit off, and... He went to stick his hand into my..." The Yobe took hold as I remembered. My mind vividly recalled the knife tracing its way down my abdomen, and I cried out as my body froze in the chair. My jaw slowly locked up, and I was unable to stop it. "Drema," General Sakita asked as he approached me. He leaned over me like a curious bird, poking his head around my face to look for signs of life. He put a finger under my chin, at my throat. "Still alive. Arca 1, record this, please." Sakita continued to examine me, and I sat frozen, unable to do anything. Damn the Yobe, damn everything my ancestors gave me to survive at home. No one told me that it would only endanger me everywhere else. He checked my breathing, finding that I barely did so, and his Arca undressed me, pulling the suit from my body by lifting me with ease from my chair. This caused my Yobe to deepen, and I became afraid. I had never known anyone who had died in the Yobe, but there was a first time for everything. I pulled my mind back to my home. I remembered what my room looked like, the structure of sticks and mud my mother had made for me. I remembered the crystals I collected and the mushrooms I grew, and my bed made from moss and feathers. I missed my room so much. And then he touched my abdomen. I was launched from the Yobe like a clap of thunder echoing at night, and I threw my foot into his chest. He lost his balance and fell backward onto his desk, and the Arkas stood at attention. I gulped in large bellows of air, trembling in my seat and shivering in the cold. Sakita held his hand up and leaned over me, looking me in the eyes. "What was that, Drema?" he asked softly, his breath a warm puff on my skin. "Yobe," I shuddered. "It's something that happens to me when I'm afraid." "Fascinating. What a defense mechanism. Explain it to me," he said as he returned to his desk, his tablet in hand. "My body locks up in fear when I'm in danger. It's meant to get predators to drop me if I'm attacked. And how do you get out of it? Normally we wait. I sometimes can work myself out of it by thinking peaceful thoughts." "If your Yobe, did I say that correctly?" "Yes. If your Yobe leaves you paralyzed, how did you fight off that prisoner?" "Somehow I managed to break out. And now, it seems my body is learning how to fight." "Interesting," he said as he stood and circled his desk, tapping a pen or a tool of some sort onto his lip. He paused by me and pointed to my abdomen with the item in his hand. "Is your abdomen sensed?" I flinched away from his gesture, and my arms coiled to strike. I had never had a reaction like this before. In the past, it had either been freeze or run, never fight. Something was changing in me, and I was not sure if I liked it. Unfortunate. This is a more recent development, is it not? It is. So you broke out of your trance, and then what? He questioned as he sat on his desk again, pen in his mouth. He touched my skin, and he died. And the broken helmet? I kicked it in. Sakita took some notes and sighed heavily. I don't know what to do with you, Drema. You could throw me back in the camp with the other murderers and rapists that you put down there. Now, he muttered, irritation at the corners of his mouth. I put you there to teach you a lesson. What, are you mad we almost made it? Quite, he rasped. If I hadn't put the Finn on lockdown, you would have maybe made it as far as the outer edge of Comia before we caught you. Why me? Why am I so important? I demanded. Couldn't you just send some of your Eclipsean friends to my planet and kidnap more? We have, and we will. He spat. There are members of your species tucked away in the Eclipsean research bases on Comia. You are here because I asked for you. Why? I wanted to see what I could learn for myself. My colleagues tend to have a very primitive way of looking at their research. Shirok tear through their subjects. I am more delicate, and New Eclipse could gain a lot if I had you. My face twisted into a frown. You're sick. So you keep saying. Now look, I would like to keep you alive. I am not like my Shiraki counterparts. I do not want this to end with your death. I also do not want you to be harmed by the other inmates, so I am instead moving you to a solitary cell upstairs. And my yard time? I asked. He was going to stuff me in a hole where I would soon die. Still granted, though I will have a guard watch you closely to make sure other inmates don't damage you. You damage me. What makes that any... Get her out of here. I don't need to explain myself further. Sakita spun in his chair, turning to face his closed window, and an Arca dragged me from the room. Rather than going down, we went up. Up to a smaller floor at the top of the Finn. Rather than housing dozens of cells, this top floor held maybe 5 at most. The Arca popped me into a room and closed the door before he left. I shivered there naked and looked around at my new home. This cell was like the work camp room, except it contained a spout where water flowed, a place for me to look at myself, a larger bed, and a toilet. There was a single window at the top of the wall, too tall for me to look through, but the light from the neighboring suns flooded through, casting a patch on the wall. I huffed and attempted to sleep. When my head touched the mat, I slept better than I had in weeks. Jerry darted in and out of my dreams, never close enough to cause a fit of Yobe, but never far enough away to not be there. I missed solid sleep and wondered if I would ever feel true peace ever again. I awoke when an Arca came to dress me. They wrapped me head to toe in a garment covering me in slick fabric. They wrapped my face, and my gloves were again too slippery to remove. When it was time to eat, a human attendant came with a tray of prison gruel. They used a clamp to pull my mask from my face and watched me with the guard just beyond the door, gun primed. It seemed Sakita realized I was dangerous. I ate, drank a glass of water. They replaced my mask and left. Hours passed before it was morning time, I assumed, and the same formality was given. After I ate, they wrapped me up again and put me on the elevator. I returned to the bottom floor, the yard, and I stumbled out into the crowd of inmates again. My eyes raked the crowd for a familiar face, and I found none save for Flyby. He made eye contact with me and smiled, though it was not a friendly gesture toward me. It seemed he found me amusing. I sat down at a table by myself and fiddled with fabric at my fingertips. I did not understand. The world I knew was so peaceful, and everything flowed in and out of time. Everything moved in its natural cycle. Sakita and Eclipse attempted to force time to stop for them, and it caused so much suffering. Something shifted into the corner of my view, and a guard entered my vision. He stood with a rifle far enough away from me to allow me some privacy, but close enough to shoot anything that got near me, or potentially shoot me. I rested my head down onto the table and attempted to nap. My sleep rhythm had been destroyed by the work camp and by being in this place, and I missed being able to sleep under the sun. I hoped I would be able to sleep without being disturbed, and that the guard would shoot whoever tried to bother me in my sleep. I nodded off and saw my home in my dreams. I walked through the front door of my hut, feeling the wood of the river reeds under my fingers, and running my hands along the chimes my brother made of beautiful crystals we found. The crystals danced in the light of the setting sun, and my hometown began to awaken. I turned and stood in the doorway watching my people light their lamps and ready the boats, and something touched me on my shoulder. I turned to see if it was my mother or one of my brothers or sisters, and I met cold eyes. Jerry the fish stood there, his mouth agape, his eyes twitching. I screamed and awoke, throwing my hands in the air, and I hit something. Drema, stop! I opened my eyes slowly, fearing the weight on my shoulder, present too in this waking world. I looked over my shoulder to find 2 hooved fingers, and I followed it up to Babali's face. Or followed the arm. Better. Babali? I stood and looked at him, only to have a stone plummet in my stomach. Babali had healed from his wounds, the ones he received in the fight, or from the fight with Leusa. But he was not the Babali I remembered. Scarring covered the patches of fur where Sakita had removed his horns, and a sleeve hung empty on his right side. It flowed when he turned like a flag in the wind. I took his hand in my gloved ones and looked him in the eye. His brown ones reflected sadness and regret. He pulled me into his arm. A hug, the humans called it, and I returned the gesture. He felt warm through my suit, and his hot breath blew on the top of my head. "I'm so glad you're alive," I muttered. "What happened?" Babali released me from the hug and sat down on the bench next to where let's see. I don't need that. I don't need none of that. Babali released me from the hug and sat down on the bench. I followed his lead and leaned my elbows on the cold table. Babali ran his flat teeth over his bottom lip and sighed. "Well, Sakita wasn't happy. I had already offended him and betrayed his trust, and then I caused more trouble. I seriously thought he was going to toss me out the airlock, but he didn't." "Why?" "He wanted to make an example of me. I mean, I'm a mess. A hornless Shirok with no dominant arm. I can't do anything. Even if I were to get out of this place, I couldn't get a job without a prosthetic limb. I'm a lesson to the other guards, I guess. This is what happens when you piss Sakita off." "I'm so sorry," I said, shuddering. I knew that no matter what I said, it would not be enough. "Have you seen Chehaya? Or Ilvara?" "No." I looked around the room again, and at the panels that Eclipse must have repaired. They displayed an image of a planet with tall green grass. It blew in a gentle breeze we could not feel and danced under a perfectly blue sky. "What happened to you?" Babali asked. "Where did he take you?" "Work camp." "Holy shit, you survived work camp?" "I made shards. I made a friend with another human down there. Goldfinger?" "I know of him. He was the traitor before Flyby." "Yeah, he said he's been down there for a while. Everything was going as it should have when I was attacked." "By whom?" "Another inmate. He's one of those fishmen. Or was. Mimilmua. They're from my planet." "A failed Zomeranian experiment, in my opinion." "And what do you mean, was?" "Well, he trapped me in a closet and..." I froze. My heart beat in my throat and my hands tightened into fists. "What, Drema?" "I can't talk about it. He's dead now anyway, so it doesn't matter." "Holy shit," Babali said and passed his hand over his mouth. "Well, I'm glad you're okay." Days passed this way. Babali and I would meet in the yard and when it was time, but otherwise I stayed in my room until I was needed. Sakita called often to play with me. One day he stuck me in a large tank of water and left me there for hours, apparently to see if I'd drown. He wanted to understand how I could move so freely between the water and the land. Another day he scared me so badly by shocking me with lightning that I was forced into the Yobe, and he took my blood during that time. Sprint's done! We did it! Hi, Cal, how are you? How's it going? We're doing writing and editing sprints for the first time today. I'm seeing how this works in this format. Work was a pain as always. I'm so sorry. As usual, capitalism is evil. I have a cat on my lap. We're working on editing Fatal Mechanisms today. I did a page of Heaven's Equal earlier, but it was actually kind of a quick page, so I figured I would just switch over here and work on this too while I still have time left on stream, you know? So. Hip is a pain because weather changes, but could be worse. True. Weather's been really funky over here too. I don't know what's going on. It's doing the most. God, this cat is purring so loud. Yeah, I'm glad you were too. Yeah, we still got about an hour left on stream, so we're doing kind of like a co-work sprinting stream today. I'm effectively rolling like a bunch of dice to determine how long we're sprinting and then going for it and working on whatever we want. Oh my lord. And then later today, I guess I'm not really doing much. I got CBR work to do, which is pretty good. I'm definitely enjoying my work schedule now. I'm kind of like vibing. Oh, cool. My work added some cool new features to their back end. Do your energy drinks get supplemented? What do you mean by that? That is a good question. Because if you mean, do they have extra vitamins and stuff in them? Sometimes they do. It depends on the brand. It's mostly like health food brands that do that. Yeah, it depends. It really depends on the energy drink. I think most people are in the agreement that B12 and B6 contribute to our energy levels, which is why a lot of mainstream energy drinks like Monsters and Rockstars have B6 and B12 in them. But I know that there are some brands of energy drinks here that go the extra mile and they get added vitamins in them because they're like marketed effectively as like a workout drink, which is a little bit different. But yeah, I think pretty much almost all energy drinks have B12 and B6 in them, as far as I am aware. Also, I am like low-key freaking out because my story that I submitted to the Wattpad Originals is now back in the queue. So the guy apparently thought that the edits were good enough that he pushed it forward in the queue, which is pretty fucking nutso. So I'm like terrified. Mr. Man, what are you doing? He's sitting on me. He's got a toothache again. We got to take him back to the dentist in a couple weeks and get him some more stuff. Hydrate. I'm drinking Skin Cleanse tea today. But yeah, it's I'm kind of fucking terrified. Hopefully it just gets picked up. Like that's what I'm hoping, is that they just look at my stuff and they go, "Yep. we want it. I also got a fucking email from Drayton Garbade again to submit my manuscript to him, and I'm like, dude, I already told you no. Get away from me. It's this like guy, he's trying to start his own publishing company, and he doesn't even have a website for his fucking publishing house. That's not them. On Instagram, they have 15 followers. They have a weird Instagram now. They have 2 employees. This guy who has less experience than me. And, then this other lady is like a marketing expert, administrative assistant. Fuck if I know. And I'm like, get away from me. He sounds like a fake person. But that is neither here nor there. Sir, I don't want to be a part of your shitty publishing house. I just feel bad because I know that I have better experience than him publishing my work, and there's nothing that he can really do for me that other publishing houses aren't already doing. You know what I mean? And like, now that I'm a part of the Wattpad Originals, or like creative program, that is more of an opportunity for me to get published than going through him. So I'm like, please leave me alone. But I'm going to pop back into another sprint. Feel free to work for the next couple of minutes. Let's roll some clickety-clacks. Oh, this is going to be a super short sprint. It's only a 9-minute sprint. Alright, Mr. Man, I'm going to need you to stop, like, drooling on my desk. That's gross. Mr. Man, that's nasty. Sir, that's gross. Sir, that's nasty. I'm gonna ask you to pretty please get off my body. If you're gonna be doing that kind of behavior. Oh, I'm covered in fur. I need to get one of those like lint roller thingies. I'm gonna put that on my grocery list, actually. I wear so much black, and this cat happens to be a white cat. Alright, so let's sprint for 9 minutes. I'm just going to zone in and work. Good luck eating your lunchy. I hope it's delicious. Let me know what you're eating for lunch, and I will be back in 9 minutes. He moved me to a table where many photographs were taken, and a machine spun around my head, taking in data I did not understand. He took pictures of my insides, my organs, he called them, my bones. Once I was put to sleep by the same gas he used before to pacify Chehaya, Ilvara, Babali, and I when we tried to escape. I do not know what he did to me then, but my thighs ached in the morning. All for the advancement of the universe, he said. If this was what it took to advance knowledge, then maybe it was better to be ignorant. How are you holding up, kid? Babali asked a month after I had been put into solitary. Holding. Sakita says he wants to test my toxin next. He's going to make poison, I suspect. Fun. Babali and I sat at our usual table, and we both... Say fell instead. We both fell silent for a while, watching an Osk pace back and forth in boredom. I leaned my head on his shoulder, and he heaved a heavy sigh. Do you think we'll ever get out of here? I asked. Nope, was all he said. Oh, don't be so depressed, you sorry saps, someone shouted behind us. Babali and I both turned to find a human there, and after a moment's hesitation, we realized it was Chehaya. They stood with their arms clasped behind their back, chest forward, and proud. Content warning for people who are listening. There is some body horror stuff and medical horror, so don't listen if you scroll away. Mute the stream. I will type when the content warning is over. I leapt to my feet and wrapped them in a tight hug, waiting for the hug to be returned. Chehaya, I shouted. I'm so glad you're all right. As all right as I could be, I suppose. When Chehaya did not hug me back, I pulled away. I moved their hair out of the way of their face and gasped when they opened their eyes. Their beautiful brown eyes had both been removed, and all that remained were holes. The flesh had been repaired, but no replacements had been given. They smiled, disappointed, and I hugged them again. He took your eyes. It's not all. Chehaya hugged me back, but I did not feel their hands on my back. They sat down at the table and rested their wrists there, hands gone. That bastard, Babali spat through gritted teeth. Are you two all right? Chehaya asked. I can't see for myself, so I have to ask. I'm fine, I replied. He put me in the work camp, and I was almost raped, but I lived. Rape. That was what Babali said Jerry was trying to do. My people did not have a word for such an action. Mimilmua inherently did not have any external sexual organs like humans, so he had settled on using his hand instead. Now that I had words to describe what he tried, it was a little easier to conceptualize. Let's see, I'm going to put this sentence here. I was glad he had not gotten far. Raped, Chehaya roared and stood. Who? I'll kill that son of a... He's dead, I said. I killed him. Guards looked in our direction to make sure we were not going to cause any more trouble, and Chehaya sat again. Damn, boy, they said. I'm glad you're all right. Me too. Sakita took my dominant arm, Babali said. I'm never piloting a mech again. Wow, Chehaya muttered. He fucked us all up. You haven't seen Ilvara? No, I replied. We sat in the yard for a moment more. Chehaya cracked a few jokes to make us feel better, though it did not work, seeing the sorry state they were in, and the guards rang the bell to signal the end of yard time. I hugged Chehaya again and told my friends I would see them tomorrow when something crackled out over a loudspeaker. Excuse me, before yard time is over, I have an announcement to make. Every prisoner in the yard turned their faces to the panels of light, expecting to see Sakita's face projected there. Instead, he stood, flanked by his two Arca, his hands behind his back. Several Eclipsian guards moved into the yard surrounding him to protect him from prisoners, and an Osk charged. Before it moved 10 feet, a guard had shot it dead straight through the chest. The rifle fired, the Osk's body hit the ground, and it skid to the edge of the circle of men, leaving a black streak behind. A guard put their boot on the edge of the Osk's head, and Sakita raised his arm in invitation. Anyone else? He asked. His hair turned black as he stood there, the warmth of the ventilation system kicking on in the silence. The prisoner shuffled but did not move. Now, as you all may remember, he said as he milled about in the safe zone his guards had created for him. A few prisoners started a riot a little while ago. They were attempting to escape on emergency ships. Content warning again for body horror. So if you don't want to listen, pause the stream. I will type the content warning and in chat when I am through it. Before I knew what was happening, a Shiraki guard stepped up behind me and pushed me forwards to the edge of the circle. She spun me around, and another guard with Sakita now to my back put his gun to my head. Babali and Chehaya were pushed in a similar direction, and we stood next to each other in front of the prisoners allowed into the yard. They gazed at us and muttered. "Put your arms above your head, please," Sakita said, crisp and clear in the silence. So, this was how it was to be. A public execution. We all raised our arms, unsure of what was about to happen. "Our Lord who art in heaven," Chehaya began to mutter under their breath. Actually, I need to change this, I recognize. Okay, just a little bit, because fun story, fun fact about their religion. They now practice Onism, which is just a new version of Christianity, so similar but not the same. "Our one God who art in the world beyond," Chehaya began to mutter under their breath. "You see them? I have removed their most essential parts, an engineer without a working arm, a thief without eyes and hands, and Drema." Sakita laughed under his breath. "I've taken a lot from Drema already. Drema is special, you see. Every part I take, Drema can grow back. I imagine that all of you in this room are not that way. If a hint, and I truly do mean the smallest rumor, the faintest whisper, comes my way, and I suspect that any of you are planning on escaping or attempting a coup, you will be dismembered alive. I will find out what matters to you most in this whole world, and I will take it from you. I will keep you awake and aware so you will remember what it is I do when I am disobeyed." The squeak of wheels echoed in the room as something was pushed in behind us and eventually around in front of us. A guard escorted a veggie in a chair, and I did not recognize them until the guard turned the chair around. Ilvara sat there, hooked to machines to keep her alive, mouth open and drool collecting on her chin. She sat motionless and not even her eyes moved. My breath shook in my chest and I closed my eyes to look away from her. She had been reduced to nothing. Babali huffed out a breath in disbelief, and I heard the sharp sound of something falling to the ground. I opened my eyes again to find Chehaya on their knees with a guard above them. "Crawl," Sakita ordered. "Thy kingdom come," Chehaya muttered as they shuffled along the floor on their wrists and knees. "Thy will be done." Chehaya stopped when their forehead bumped into Ilvara's knees. Or shins, truly? Chehaya felt their way up Ilvara's legs and her jumper, and then to the chair. "What is this?" Chehaya asked. "A veggie?" No one answered them, and they moved their wrists farther up the chair. When their skin reached Ilvara's arm, they recognized a familiar texture and began to panic. "No," they muttered as they felt further up Ilvara's body. "No, no, 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 no." Their wrists touched Ilvara's face, and then the spot where her quills used to be, and Chehaya realized what had happened. "No!" they cried out like an animal in pain. "No, you bastard! How dare you!" They stood and spun to face the direction that Sakita's voice had come from. Water streamed down their cheeks, and they stumbled in Sakita's direction. "You monster! I'll kill you!" Chehaya stumbled at the circle of guards, and a human with a plasma stick struck them. Electricity shot through Chehaya's body, and they convulsed there on the ground, screaming until their voice went hoarse. I closed my eyes there, wishing I could erase the entire moment from my brain. "This is what happens if you disobey Eclipse. We will take everything from you," Sakita said. "Everything." Alright, sprints are done. That is legitimately the worst part of this whole fucking book. It's awful. So bad. I have to figure out what I want to eat for lunch today. I don't know what I want. What are you having for lunch?
Yeah, evil.
I'm sorry. I have to figure out, I guess I'm gonna have probably kalbi. I have like Korean short ribs and rice. I think that's what I'm gonna eat with, I would say probably with like kimchi, I think. Chicken and cheese sandwich. Yo, that sounds good. Oh, a grilled cheese sounds so fucking good right now. I'm trying to be really good with myself, and I started this. I don't want to call it a diet because it's not really a diet. I think the word diet is like loaded. I'm going to use the word meal plan to try and increase my fiber because my like nutrition has been really bad. And so this whole week and probably for like the next 6 weeks, Jason and I are going to be eating vegetarian. And I can still technically have cheese, but on this meal plan, they recommend not having cheese because it's an anti-inflammatory diet as well. And so I am desperately missing some grilled cheese. But I did have some pretty kick-ass vegan mac and cheese from a restaurant the other day, and it was so good. I was like blown away. It was like way better than pretty much most restaurant regular mac and cheese that I've ever had. I was very impressed. So yeah, I could have lentils. I don't really want to have lentils. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it'll go. Yeah, the vegan mac and cheese was super impressive. I normally don't like vegan cheese replacements because it's like, I don't know, it just doesn't taste good normally. The texture's weird sometimes. Like, I don't know. But not this shit. I've also been participating in, let's see, the Herkiad challenge from Stephanie from QWERTY's stream, and it's like the hardest reading challenge thing, and so far I've completed 2 books for it. The first one I read was The Master of Sheerhaven by John Wesley Huff, which is an indie book that's coming out at the end of October, and then I just finished up Collodi's Adventures of Pinocchio. So it's the first time I've read Pinocchio. I've never read it before. And it was fucking wild. That shit was ridiculous. That was the most wackadoo book I've ever read. So now I'm moving on to The Sacrifice by Rin Chupeco. So they are a Filipino author. I'm very excited about it. It's a Filipino horror. Super scary. I'm ready. My body is ready. But yeah, plant cheese. No, for real though. Plant cheese. That place also had some really killer vegan chicken and waffles. Very impressive. They effectively just deep fried a shitload of cauliflower, and it was like they gave you effectively the whole head of cauliflower. It was so good. I was, yeah, blown away. It was so tasty. It's one of the best vegan restaurants, I think, in Denver, though, to be quite honest. I really like them a lot. And I don't normally go for vegan food. When I think of vegan food, I just think of Asian food, you know? Like, I could go downstairs right now and go get some, like, Thai spring rolls from Nomi Thai. That's vegan. You know, vegetarian for sure. Oh, except for the shrimp in it. But, like, pescatarian is not really that bad. And I could just enjoy that, you know, and there's a lot more options, I think, in terms of, like, Asian food than American food for vegetarian stuff. Or, like, Indian food is normally, like, easily vegetarian accessible. So, when we go out to eat, I'll just have to eat something creative. But that also means that I'm not allowed to have sushi for, like, 6 weeks. And I don't know why I've done this to myself. I am very sad about it. Yeah, so I've been betrayed. But that's okay. I betrayed myself. More like my body betrayed me. Okay, all of a sudden you hit 30 and then your body starts to break down, okay? It's a real thing. All the 30-year-olds joke about that shit. It is not a joke. It's a real thing. Yeah, I just don't eat enough vegetables, period. Because I like vegetables, and I do try and include them in dinner, but, like, I recognize that, for example, for breakfast, I just had a bagel, and that was it. And I really should go and get, like, some chips and some guac or something, you know, which I might do at the next, like, sprint break that we have. I'll just go grab some of the guac from the fridge, and I have some chips and munch on that a little bit. You know, just being more mindful, I think, about how much veggie I'm putting into my body. But also, what kind of Rockstar did you say that you had? A strawberry swirl Rockstar? Yo, that sounds so good. I had the blue cherry Gatorade for the first time yesterday in a really long time, and I remembered why I really love Gatorade. Oh, nice. My mom has been trying to up our veggie intake as well. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be mindful. It's, like, really weird. You don't think about it. Because I get enough carbs and protein, but I don't get enough, like, just pure veggies. So, it's been a lot of beans. We've been eating a lot of beans the last, like, 3 days. Garbanzo beans, lentils. Today, probably, I'll have, like, at least kimchi I enjoy, so that's great. I'm going to be really excited about that, but, I think it's going to be it's either going to be soup or something else. Let me figure out. It's like a strawberry creamsicle? It's fucking incredible. That sounds so good. I'm going to be eating, let's see, what do we got for dinner? It's either going to be a tofu stir fry or white bean soup. And honestly, I'm probably going to make the soup. So, I like soup, though. I've had to do up the recipes, though, with better seasoning, because a lot of these vegan recipes are very, like, mellow. So, which I guess I get it, but, like, I don't know. It's okay. It's just okay. I need some seasonings, otherwise I lose my mind. So, alright. With that, I'm going to go ahead and, do the rolling of the dice. I like soup too. My mom finds soup isn't super filling, which I respect. Yeah, that is fair. I feel like you have to load it up with a shitload of veggies in order to make it filling, but I can definitely see how that would be a problem. I feel the same way with salad. Alright, rolling the clickety-clacks. I'm rolling my Jono dice. Oh, this is a longer one. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a 14-minute sprint, and by longer, I mean it's like... not really that long. I might add a 5th die, because these dice keep rolling kind of low. Alright, 14 minutes. Let's go. In a 3, a 2, a 1. Chihaya wept for Ilvara and refused to leave her side. Eventually, the guards let them push her wheelchair around, and Ilvara became present for our many conversations. We did not know if she could even still hear us in the state she was in. The guards that followed us listened to our every word, so I slowly but surely taught Chihaya and Babali Striolan. It was a long process teaching them another language, but they understood the value of communicating in a language that no one but I knew. I was determined to go and get us out of this hellhole, whether I died doing it or not. Honestly, what I'm gonna do, if there's one thing... Okay, there we go. Better. I want to make sure that this doesn't come across as ableist because there are some people who are nonverbal and confined to wheelchairs, and I want to make it clear that this is like no like slight on, of course, people who are developmentally disabled and confined to wheelchairs and nonverbal, because those people are fine, so there's no prejudice there. It's just that these people are forcefully lobotomizing people effectively. Not great. Okay. The guards that followed us listened to our every word, so I slowly but surely taught Chehaya and Babali Striolan. It was a long process teaching them another language, but they understood the value of communicating in a way that no one but I knew. I was determined to get out of this hellhole, whether I died doing it or not. Soreba Shekheu, I muttered under my breath one day. We need to leave. Heb, Babali spat. How? Satol Superdova. We are trapped. Sahejad Oda, Goldfinger? Da Sahejad Didobe. A man below, Goldfinger, said a man named Ditto will help. Chehaya lifted their head and looked between the three, actually, this does not work because they can't see. And tilted their head toward the three of us. Ditto, they said. I know him. What kind of help do you want from him? What's the point of us speaking in code if you won't speak it? Babali huffed. Sorjeme, Chehaya replied. Uyasuk Pog so iso. Sorry, I know where he is. Pog, I asked. Ebi, research facility. Sans Komia. At a research facility on Komia. So Dayan. Babali tripped over his words as he leaned on the table. I giggled at their attempt to learn. I appreciated the effort. How do we speak to him? Yavna, Chehaya replied. He comes here. If we can get him to cause some ken. Was that the right word? Yes, I confirmed. If he causes enough ken to be deemed demeo, they bring him here. How do we get him to do that? Babali spat. I have my connections, Chehaya reassured. It may take some time, though. I haven't seen him in many years. I don't even know if he's the same person. Goldfinger said Ditto could Tevu Sog Sehu. I chimed in, slowing my words so they could understand. What's Sehu? Babali asked, frustration on his tongue. To survive. It took Chehaya weeks, but eventually they returned with a smile on their face. They strode up to our table one day and sat down, leaning on Ilvara's shoulder. Ilvara typically sat at the cap of the rectangular table, and Chehaya always made sure to include her. Babali argued about it with me one day, but I told him to stuff it. It made Chehaya happy, and it harmed no one. I think I got through, they said as they struggled with something in their pocket. Do you need help? I asked. If you wouldn't mind, Chehaya said and stood, turning their pocket toward me. I reached in and pulled out their box of breath mints. I had trouble opening the metal box with my glove, but Babali was able to get it open with his teeth. I took a mint and put it onto Chehaya's tongue, and then returned the box to their pocket. Thanks, love. So I got the letter out. Nice work, Babali said. How did you manage? I wrote with my teeth. I sent it out to a friend on the outside who will hopefully send it or take it where it needs to go. How long do you think it'll take? Could be days, could be months. Knowing Ditto, he'll do something crazy enough to get in here quick if I need him. How exactly do you know this guy? Babali pressed, skeptical. Old Animus friend, was all Chehaya said. We waited for weeks for anything of interest to happen. Sakita kept up his usual schedule, summoning me to his office twice a week or so. He had been playing with poison, turning my toxin into something they could use to kill other innocent creatures, I suspected. He returned to give me treats, sonu and other delicacies, as if he was trying to win me over. Half the time I did not eat it, and once he threw the food into the trash in front of me as if that would hurt my feelings. I did not understand why he tried so hard to win my favor when he very clearly did not care about my well-being. After waiting for what felt like forever, Chehaya shouted out one day at the table. Their outburst caused the guards to jump to attention and point their guns, but Chehaya could not see them and so was unafraid. They ran at someone they heard in the yard, and Babali and I lost them for a moment in the crowd. Babali rose to look for them when they did not return in a timely manner, but just as he stood to mill through the other inmates... Oh, I'm getting a phone call. From whom? Oh, it's my school. Hold on, I'll be right back. They're contacting to call me about my car's extended warranty. I can't. No, I just changed my major, so that's why. Let's see. But just as he stood to mill through the other inmates, Chihaya returned with someone in tow. They sat an older human at the table, one with a gruff beard and scars on his lips. He ran his dirty fingers through his tangled hair and wiped tears from his eyes. Chihaya pointed at him with their wrists and said, "May I present?" Ditto. "Jesus, kid, if you were in this much trouble, you should have called earlier. You know I would have put everything on hold as soon as you wrote." Ditto spat. "I don't mind being locked up in here," Chihaya sighed. "Well, I didn't mind while being locked up in here," Chihaya sighed, "while I had Ylvara, but..." We all turned our heads to Ylvara, who sat still as always. Babali used the collar of Ylvara's jumper to wipe some drool away from her mouth and nodded in satisfaction at his work. "Are you going to introduce me, or am I going to have to guess at names?" Ditto laughed. He was just like Chihaya, I thought, a beacon of light in this abyss. "This is Babali. He's ex-Eclipse, an engineer and a pilot." "Ex-engineer, too," Babali huffed. "Oh, can it, Babali? I already told you I'd get replacement parts for your arm if we ever make it." Chihaya stopped themselves before they said too much. "He whines a lot. Also with this is Drema. He's a Striolan, and Sakita has been experimenting on him, doing all sorts of terrible stuff. Drema can kill people with the toxin on his skin, which is why Eclipse keeps him all wrapped up." "I'm sorry," Ditto said, placing a hand on mine. "I know better than most what it's like to be tortured." "And this is Ylvara." Chihaya choked when they said her name. They rested their wrist on Ylvara's hand and smiled. "She's the most amazing pilot I've ever met. I never thought that the technology I invented would be used for such horrible purposes." Ditto frowned as he moved to Ylvara. "I'm very sorry they did this to you, dear." "What do you mean, you invented?" Babali spat, putting on the best front he could muster. He stuck his chest out and stood tall, raising his chin like the Babali I had first met. "I worked for Eclipse." Before Ditto could blink, Babali took his non-dominant hand and threw a punch. With relative ease, Ditto moved past the fist and grabbed Babali's arm. He spun Babali around with such force, Babali lost balance and dropped to his knees. Ditto pulled an arm around Babali's throat and tossed some of his long hair out of his eyes. "Boy, you best think twice before you go and do something like that," he whispered. The guards near us did not even stop Ditto. They instead laughed at Babali's weakness. "You're the same as I, Shirak," Ditto said as he helped Babali up to his feet. "Mistakes were made, and I'm doing my damnedest to right them. I'm a computer scientist. I work primarily with software, not hardware. I originally invented these brain-scrambling chips to be used to rewrite the minds of patients with memory loss. Eclipse took my research and turned it on its head. Instead of helping, they used my technology to eliminate all brain function, save for the basic senses. All ability to utilize neurons is null." "So she can hear me?" Chihaya asked, resting their wrists on Ylvara's shoulder. "That's good to know. It's totally reversible. If the chip were to be removed or the connection to power were to be shut off," Ditto said as he sat again. "You said in your letter you needed help." Chihaya turned to me to explain. I took a deep breath and told Ditto everything that happened to me in the work camp and how Goldfinger suggested that he could help us survive in this hellscape. Ditto nodded and listened, occasionally humming or humping in confirmation. I'll say harumping instead. At certain statements, and he nodded. I can help you. Yes, I'm surprised Goldfinger's still alive. He's been in the work camp for a long time. He and I trained together for other endeavors. Ditto chose his words carefully. How much time do we have with you? Chihaya asked. 3 months. I personally insulted the Chancellor, and they tossed me in here for insubordination. Fortunately, they need me. We're working on systems for light-speed travel. We're deconstructing something Amma found in the Gespiri Aerospace, which seems to be a ship designed for speed of light. No idea where it came from. If I can break it down and understand it, Eclipse's research would be endless. We met with Ditto every day for training. I taught him Striolan. Let me see. That seems to be maybe an issue. Okay, I gotta be careful with that. Let me find and replace. I think there was 13 replacements. There we go, better. Just gotta make sure that I spell it correctly. And actually, I think I have my Word doc that has the correct spelling in it. Yeah, it's 2 L's. It is. Okay, well, there you go. I taught him Striolan so he could communicate with confidence. Ditto taught me how to look for things to fight with. Just as Jerry the fish had used that closet to find a weapon, I could find a weapon anywhere else I wanted. Flyby, of course, sold shivs, but I needed credits for that, and Ditto felt as though credits were unnecessary. He assured me that I did not need to become indebted to someone to defend myself. The prisoners were not given much, so the only reasonable weapons were found in broken objects. The next time an Osk broke a panel, I was to look for sharp pieces of metal to fight with. Alright, sprints are done. Okay, I think I'm going to, go and grab some chippies. Also, welcome back from your lurk, Karma. I'm gonna get some chippies really quick. I'm gonna be right back. I return with the chippy. Alright, cool. I feel like we're at least making a little bit of progress. These sprints are fun. The problem that I have with sprinting is that I feel like I don't get as much work done. But also I recognize it leaves more time for breaks and chatting with people, so I don't know. I don't know which format I prefer. Oh, I forgot that this guacamole has like 0 lemon in it because it was originally for avocado toast. Yeah, sorry about the crunches. Let me know if it bothers anybody. Don't want to be triggering misophonia in here. That would be not fun. I'm gonna just try and get through this little bit of avocado toast, I think. Not avocado toast, I'm sorry. I guess it was avocado schmear. So we are about, in terms of editing, maybe like almost like a fourth of the way through the book. I could put some lemon on it. I'm so lazy though. I already sat down. My legs are broken now. This is the end. Fortunately, these chips, my favorite chips ever, they're the Late July tortilla chips, and they have sea salt and lime on them, so there is a little bit of a zing from the chip itself, which is great. I think today I might try and vacuum this office for the first time since we moved in, because now all the boxes are finally off the floor. So that's exciting. We're still not done unpacking. We're finally done with the old place, though. We got the security deposit back and everything. Thank God. I wanted Oreos really bad last night. Yeah, Tatsu hates the vacuum so much. He won't, like, try to attack it, but he definitely is like, do not have that anywhere near me. Sometimes he doesn't care. As long as it doesn't get too close to him, he's like, this is fine. But if it gets anywhere near him, he's like, thank you, but no. Sorry, this is a really loud bag, I realize. There we go. I like that avocado toast spread. It was very, like, spicy. Alright, I'm just gonna jump back into sprints one more time. I think we can squeeze one more short one in. So, let's get a good rolly. Oh, actually, just kidding. This might be a long one. It's actually the longest one today. It's an 18-minute sprint. So, let me know if you all think that these sprints should be longer, shorter, and then the next time I do them next week when I'm doing a full stream of them, we can figure that out. I think this is probably good though. But yeah, that being said, let's start a final 18-minute sprint. And then I'll be done with work for the day on stream. So a 3, a 2, a 1. Next, avoiding weapons became a priority. He explained to me the tools Eclipse had at their disposal. Their handheld guns emitted bangs as loud as thunder that would hurt the ears of anyone near them and were mostly meant for silencing crowds. Fortunately, those were not dangerous. Other weapons, though, were. Besides plasma sticks, their long-range rifles would kill you. The first type shot metal bullets could penetrate even metal and had ammunition that followed targets until they hit. This is a long sentence. The other fired what Ditto called a laser, a beam invisible to the eye. It burned holes through metal and anything else and made no sound when fired. These were the most dangerous. Ditto also taught us to bring an assailing guard to the floor from many angles. This only truly worked on humans, and it was much harder for Chihaya because they could not see. But after a month of solid practicing, Babali and I were able to spar. Ditto's techniques even worked for someone with one arm or no hands. Our sparring sessions were often broken up by guards, and even Ditto's explanation that it was simple exercise did not... Wow, if I could type. Holy moly. Wow, okay, my brain just short-circuited. You ever just not English? You know what I'm saying? That was what happened to me. Alright. That it was simple exercise did not persuade them. After a little while, we became completely unable to practice these techniques at all. Guards would rush us and hit us with plasma sticks if they even saw anything that looked slightly threatening. Babali nearly gave up out of exhaustion after Ditto assigned us to physical exercise. If anyone was strong enough to wield one of the weights used on the exercise machines in the yard, it was Babali. The weights were welded together, Ditto explained, to prevent inmates from picking them up and hurling them like boulders. Ilvara could have easily lifted one, but she had never tried. Inmates that attempted those kinds of activities were immediately turned to veggies. Ditto was unsure that I would be strong enough to lift one, but in Babali he had confidence. Babali could also dismantle a mech with his bare hands by breaking parts and pulling cords and wires if he continued to work, but it nearly killed him. He was already weak from eating too little, and I had to get clever. Sakita continued to give me treats behind the backs of other inmates, and I would ask him if I could take them back to myself for later. I explained that my metabolism would not allow me to eat so much at random times during the day, which was a blatant lie, but he bought it. He grilled me about Striol and eating practices for days after that, and I managed to convince him that I got sick if I ate anything during the day rather than at night. I told him that I preferred my food to be delivered the way it was at sundown and sunup because it mimicked my breakfast and dinner at home. He allowed me to take my treats to my cell with me to eat at night, and I would take those treats down to the yard for Babali. We weren't sure what would kill him, and I did not disclose some of the ingredients of certain dishes because he had made complaints about bugs before. It was barely enough to allow him to feel full and to help him build his strength. A little food went a long way with Babali, and he explained that he held on to food for up to a week based on how his people had evolved. This let him... let his body draw maximum nutrients from what treats I could give him, and this proved to be extremely effective. I learned to love Ditto. He rubbed my back when I was not feeling well and talked to me about my home to make me feel better on sad days. Do I want to actually expand this into a whole ass other scene? I might do it. How long is this chapter? Long already. Is my ass about to insert another chapter here? I might. Because this is very exposition-y. Alright. The bummer is that means that I get to go through and I have to fix all of this. Hello? Oops. So now I get to do this for the rest of the book. But I guess this is what line editing really is, huh? Sometimes shit just gets to be moved around. This is a little bit of a developmental edit and a little bit of a line edit, but... Oops. We're making it happen. Lord. Okay, almost there. This is a big ass book, and probably, to be quite honest, it's gonna only be larger by the end of this. Okay. So now let's go back down here. And let's make this into an actual scene instead of, like... Let's see. I have to make this into a whole scene. Let me fix the end of this chapter, though. Okay, there we go. That's a nice little sentence to round out that chapter now. Now this is going to be difficult. This is going to be a whole thing. Hey, Kraken, what's going on? Welcome into the sprint. We got 8 minutes left on this sprint, and then I'll chat with you. Thanks for popping in. We're doing things a little differently today. Oh god, I have to ask myself the question, do goats sweat? Oh, interesting. They do sweat, but not for the reason you'd think. I learned something today. Lessons on goats, they sweat, but actually going to do an M dash here. Hi, Poison. Welcome in. Poison Dart, that's a cute username. Welcome in. Welcome to the sprint. We got 4 more minutes of working, so if you want to work on writing or work on art, feel free, and then we're going to all reconvene at the end. But welcome in. Good to see you. How are you? Got a little frog sticker on my head. My PNG tuber is courtesy of Lear the Witch, who's I think lurking around in the chat. So thanks again, Lear, for making such a cute avatar. I love frogs to death, though. This makes Ditto a little bit more relatable, because something is going to happen to him later and I need to have a little bit more of an attachment to him. Slowly this book will grow in size. Awesome. Good luck writing, Poison Dart. We got 1.5 minutes left of this sprint, so hopefully you can get at least a little bit done. All right, sprints are done. Sprints are done. Been struggling with this one character and his development. Oh, that's a mood. Well, if you need to work through anything, let us know. I'm actually going to be calling it, I think. Ooh, hydrate. I actually don't have any water, but I'm gonna go heat up more tea, I think, now that we're at the end of stream. But yeah, Poison Dart, if you want to hang around for any future streams, I do writing sprints typically every Tuesday. Wednesday is kind of a weird day for writing, but normally I work on writing on Tuesdays if you ever want to join again. But you can also find my Discord that I just dropped into the chat too. Thank you so much for that follow, my friend. It's good to have you in with the crew. Yeah, you can always pop into the Discord and share your writing, ask questions, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to see what you like to work on. Sorry I didn't get to chat with you very much because I was at the end of my my stream. But thank you so much to everybody who popped in. Thanks again, Poison Dart, for the follow. You are amazing. I'll be back tomorrow for sure. I'm going to be working on some commissions. So that'll be exciting. And I hope to see everybody then. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay cool. And thanks so much. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.